Oh my god, what the...
What was that noise?
That was me going...
It was Eric fighting the xenomorph.
Jeez. Okay, so I have to be silent unless I'm talking right into the phone. Yeah. Apparently it makes weird noises. I can't hear them.
It was pretty weird.
So you're using Mumble on your phone?
Your mom's using Mumble on my phone.
Oh!
All right, let's get this shit started.
You got both you parents.
What's your prediction for the fight then?
Prediction?
Yes, prediction.
Pain.
Conan, what is best in life? Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
You gonna do something or just stand there and bleed?
I ain't got time to bleed.
I feel the need for speed.
See, in this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns, and those who dig. You dig.
Do you enjoy pain?
Pain don't hurt.
It's all in the reflexes.
John Hates Movies presents Brovember.
Good. Bad. I'm the guy with the gun.
Dylan! You son of a bitch!
You're either with us or bro against us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to John Hates Movies, the movie review podcast where my friends prevent me from beating up my sister daughter and instead force me to watch movies.
Ew.
This week we have with us Eric Largent.
Tally-ho.
We have Colin McMillan.
Bad for glass.
We have Jamie Donaldson.
You don't know what you're talking about, you dumb okie.
And we have James Barrup.
What happened to your nose? Some guy slam a bedroom window on it?
And I am your host, John Barrup. And if you weren't able to tell from the little quote bits that we did this week, we watched what is widely regarded as a classic, and that classic happens to be Chinatown.
Yeah.
We get it, Jake.
Yes,
You're
widely
in
regarded as a
Chinatown.
classic.
Yes, yes, it
Widely
is.
regarded.
Widely.
As a classic.
And as soon as I can get this stupid thing to work, I will give you the synopsis. Because
Hooray.
synopsis, you wouldn't know what this movie was about if I didn't give you these.
What? I watched it and I'm still not sure what it's about.
Alright, so Chinatown. With a suspicious femme fatale bankrolling his snooping, Private Eye J.J. Geitz uncovers intricate dirty dealings in the Los Angeles waterworks.
It's Giddies.
I know.
Is that what it was?
Getz
Getty.
and Getty.
Yeah, I
Mr.
always
Getz.
mispronounce
Listen
his
up
name.
here, Mr. Getz.
That's right.
Mr. Gitz.
It's starring Jack Nicholson, Faye Dunaway, John Huston, and directed by Roman Polanski.
Heyo.
Heyo.
What a guy.
What a guy.
Krasky Polanski.
That's right.
Mhm.
You know, it's funny. This is the first. I've seen this movie a couple of times, but this is the very first time that I actually realized that Roman Polanski is actually in it.
Yeah.
Oh, who was he?
He's the guy who slices open Jack's nose.
Oh, get out
Oh,
of here.
Yeah,
really?
I had no
Yeah.
idea.
And
I've
then
never
does
seen
not
him
re-
before.
Doesn't come back?
And I didn't
Huh.
realize that he was literally a short little troll man. So
He's so little.
Yeah.
You know what happens to nosy people?
Doink. That was a weird scene.
yeah, that was a weird scene.
And his nose was all bandaged up for half the movie.
Yep.
So,
I know.
which I forgot. And it's so Roman's part actually had that
that much of an impact on the movie.
Yes. His presence was felt throughout the rest of
Yes.
the film.
That's right. So, as usual, the person who chooses the movie gets to review the movie first. And in that case, it's James the Wang Bearup.
The Wang. Come on.
You're called the Wang because John waits for the dick to come out in everything you do.
Oh, I thought that was a Chinatown reference.
Jamie, just confirming, you can make that joke, right?
Yes, I can make that joke.
Okay.
Oh shit.
What tribe are you from, Jamie?
Oh. Wow.
That's a story.
Yeah. So, James, Chinatown.
All right, Chinatown. Okay. So sometimes you choose movies on this podcast so that you know you won't have to defend them later.
Okay.
Did this one blow up in your face?
And sometimes you choose movies where you've wanted to see them and everybody tells you they're amazing and that you need to watch it. I kind of chose this movie for those two reasons. I've never seen this. It's always been a to-watch movie for me, and this, it's slow, but
No.
but
Pay attention to that word, kids. We're going to hear it a lot.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I didn't see as much of the movie as I would have liked to.
Why is that, James?
Because it was slow.
No, because somebody stayed up all night writing a fucking dick story.
That may have happened.
It was a good dick story, though. That was pretty funny.
All right, so I necessarily I'm kind of I'm a little glad that it wasn't like absolutely amazing because I was worried when I chose this one. I was either going to choose this or something stupid because I do kind of get tired when we watch something really cinematically fantastic and then we all get all up in our head about it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to spend like 3 or 8 hours, fucking all in our head blabbering on about how amazing this movie was, whether it deserved it or not.
Probably our worst episode was about a movie like that, City of God. Don't go back and listen to that episode because that's a good movie. We have nothing to say.
Yeah, it's great. Watch it. Yeah, that's it.
But we say that we managed to say that for almost an hour and a half. So
Right. Well done, fellas.
Yeah.
We can be Roman Polanski now, except maybe not.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, this movie has very 70s pacing. We talk about it a lot. Now, if it wasn't for Rosemary's Baby, I mean, here's the thing. Because of the pacing, I can really never... I didn't know this was Polanski. And I can really never get into his movies. And it's not because of the scandal and shit that he is embroiled in. It has everything to do with the fact that his movies are incredibly slow. However, he's an artiste. So while watching this movie, I'm like, I don't need to see Jack Nicholson drive up and park his car and then walk out into the building. I don't need to see that. I don't need to see this guy park his car and then walk into the building. A lot of these things could be tightened up, but, at the same time, you say that to somebody who is a film buff, and they'd be like, but he's an artiste. Every single one of these shots means something.
Well, so I suppose devil's advocating that is that this, even though it took place in that the movie was in the 70s, it was a period piece to the 30s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think he was doing, like trying. My defense would be that he's trying to create atmosphere with doing all that stuff and showing all the old cars and showing all
honestly,
the old outfits.
The way that I watch this movie, which is in chunks, because even while trying to finish it today, when I got home from work, I fell asleep and woke up to Jack, what's his face, getting punched in an orange grove. So
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So honestly, like when the setting is being made, it is being made. And then it immediately falls apart because we're watching a dude walk. You know? I don't have the patience for that shit anymore. I think that people nowadays don't have patience for shit like that anymore. You go back and watch The Maltese Falcon, there's not a slow moment in that movie.
Yeah.
It's a well-paced movie, and it is an hour and a half of people talking, and it is riveting.
Yeah, they don't walk anywhere because they only had 3 sets.
Yes, and it's really good. It has none of the pacing problems that this movie has. So beyond that, like, honestly, I'll just say, the story was really good, despite the pacing issues.
I agree with that.
The way that because this was based on an actual story, real LA history, real Hollywood history. Yeah, all this actually happened. But they wanted to tell the story, and they gave it to Polanski, and he had the brilliant idea of turning it into a noir film, which worked really well for it. And can't really say much about the actors. I mean, you got. Yep. I think Siggy said all I think you pretty much said
awesome.
my idea there. Everything I was going to say about that. But yeah, it's a great idea. It shows. I like how in the end that the bad guys didn't win. That it was a very cynical movie. In that, like,
but nobody wins.
Nobody wins in the end, and this is just like, and I do like that line where he's talking to the guy at the end. He's like, "You're worth 10 million, right? And, you're over 10 million." He's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, then what the hell can you possibly want? And he's like, "The future. With this money, I own the future." And that's still true today, which is really upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a just like general question for the room. So everybody just kept on like passing in this movie. People kept on passing things off as, well, that's just Chinatown. What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? What does it even mean that okay, there's a problem, like there's something weird going on, well, that's just Chinatown. What the fuck? What do they mean?
Yeah.
No, that's the reference is to when, they do cover it. It's about how things were handled in the police department when he was working in Chinatown. It's don't make waves, don't ask questions, do as little as possible, keep your head down and shut up.
That's just Chinatown?
That's what that phrase means in the context of this movie. It's not like, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, where it's actually about like Chinatown is super crazy and shit like this happens all the time. They're just saying shut up and don't ask questions.
Yep. Yeah.
Huh.
Which is why in the end, before the iconic "Forget it, Jake, it's just Chinatown," he's whispering, "Do as little as possible."
Okay.
Yep.
I like all that. Just like I never caught that, and I never understood.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so they kept on saying it's just Chinatown. Like, so what? It's just Chinatown. Let's try. What? Why does that matter?
That's what this movie is actually about, and they don't get to it for the first hour. Yeah. This movie is about this is dour. This is dour as fuck. This is a movie about what happens when you try to do things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you try to do right, and everybody gets fucked over. That's the thrust. That's what Polanski wants you to know.
When really all we need to do is just go work in a corporate environment for a couple of months, and we'll learn that lesson very fast.
Yes,
do as little as possible.
But then also, don't bring up anything.
Don't make waves. Yep.
And all things, and all this happens during the 30s. Well, it's the movie. The Wikipedia said that it takes place in 1937, which means that everything leading up to that was all in that 30s era, which is gangsters, mobsters, all that stuff. So all that stuff was also happening on the East Coast as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think of it in terms of that, crooked cops, mob runs, everything, it's kind of the same tone over there.
Well, and it's immediately post-Depression, so everybody is completely certain that at any moment they could all be fucked over. Everybody.
A lot of desperation.
So,
yeah, and I gotta say that the title of this movie is bullshit, because it's like fucking Signs or Unbreakable. You spend the entire fucking movie talking about superheroes or aliens, and you only get to it in the last 15 fucking minutes. It's like Mad Max, actually. Max doesn't even get mad until the last 20 fucking minutes. We don't see Chinatown until 20 minutes is to the end.
In fact, they should have called it Perfectly Reasonable Max for most of the movie.
Actually, I would think, because he does
very,
get mad.
very
so
forgiving Max.
Well, he does get mad, like really mad. So I would think that it should be called Max Gets Mad, not Mad Max.
Max gets mad, takes a vacation to blow off some steam, and then his wife is murdered and he gets mad.
So that's
colon spoilers.
Okay, guys, we got to get like $1 million by money, buy the Mad Max franchise, and we make a shot-for-shot remake of Mad Max. But at the very end, at 30 minutes to the end of the movie, Mad Max is chasing Toe Cutter, and Toe Cutter just turns around. Instead of doing that hiss, he pulls out a saxophone and starts playing sexy sax, and Mad Max calms down. Because that's all he needed.
I buy it.
Sax.
Sexy sax is his kryptonite.
That's right. Sexy sax.
That his wife used to play.
That's why he was calm before it. Mm-hmm. The wife used to. That's actually little known fact. She was playing the sax to keep him calm. Because he's known for his temper. That's why they call him Angry Max.
All right. Okay, so James, how do you feel about your Chinatown review?
I feel pretty good.
Okay, so Chinatown, pretty good movie. Actually didn't have as big a problem with it with the pacing, though it certainly shows its age in that regard. But the reason I didn't have a problem with that is because even though it moves slow, in each scene there is some small bit of information that actually matters. Lots of movies in this area, you got scenes where they're just driving for like 5 minutes and they're not even going anywhere important and nothing crucial happens there, So the pacing didn't bother me, but the reveal I love a good noir. I love a good noir, really. Like, it's a genre I've had a long time infatuation with. But when you get to the reveal of this one, it just takes this turn for the fucked up. I was like, whoa, because I don't know, man. You get into the whole like incest rape thing, and it completely blindsided me, and I was so strange because I didn't expect that from a movie made in 1974, and to me it was jarring because it's also at odds with the noir genre for the way I picture it anyway. Because noir is one thing, stories about incest and rape are another thing. And in my world, nary the two shall cross. Rather it's I want to be ready if I'm going to see something like that. Like, I know what the girl with the dragon tattoo is going in. Like, I know what I'm going to see. And thankfully, there's no like scenes of huge we don't see any of that. It's all just recapped in the dialogue. But I was like, what is this movie about? And then the end is just so damn depressing. And I understand that that's what it's supposed to be,
and surprisingly violent. All of a sudden.
Yeah. There's these two scenes in the movie. And the end is one of them. One is where Roman Polanski cuts his actor's nose in half, which in a movie with basically zero violence up to that point, he's just like sticking a knife up his nose, and I'm like, ooh, wow, gangster guy. I thought it was going to be like Frank Nitti in The Untouchables, where he's just going to say some weird shit and then leave, and then I don't know. Like, I just figured we would we would see this guy come and go, and he'd be the mean gangster guy. But no, he just flicks and slices his nose, and it was like so quick and like bloody and like
yeah.
It was not over the top enough to be unbelievable.
Right. No, it was very believable.
So
right.
It stuck out to me because it looked, especially for a 40-year-old effect, that looked real as shit when it happened. I was like,
blood,
whoa!
Blood from like 70s movies looks really bad. Like, okay, the blood in like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or like the prequels before it. It looks really bad if you go back and watch those. It's obvious that Clint Eastwood has a bunch of shit.
Like,
but
it's like cherry Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's a really awful color. And that blood looked so real.
Yeah.
Like realer than blood we use nowadays. I'm like, what the fuck did they use? Is that real blood?
It was because it wasn't overly syrupy like a lot of them are.
No. And it sprayed like blood.
Yeah, and we just watched a couple of gory movies, so that's So we have a frame of reference.
Yeah, no, this didn't look like The Reanimator, where everybody is just rolling around in corn syrup.
Yeah. We watched the dude's head explode because of a fork, and this was more affecting than that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, and part of it is because up until that moment, Jake Gittes seems really on top of it. And you don't really think of him being in danger at all until that moment. Suddenly, this tough guy, noir detective, becomes incredibly vulnerable and he's injured. And it's very scary. So then, when you introduce realistic violence like that, and then the way the end goes down, which is incredibly violent and nasty, it really hits you a little bit harder. I understand the ending. I understand this is a cynical movie, and I know that's not an accident. I hated the ending. I hated everything from the reveal on because it was just so awful. Like the shit that happens to these characters in this movie is fucking terrible. And so
you mean from the point with the reveal?
Yeah, the reveal with Faye Dunaway, where she tells Jake Gittes. What the?
It's my sister. It's my daughter. It's my sister. It's my daughter.
Yeah. From that moment on, everything is terrible, and the quality of the film is very good. And Polanski did a good job, and I actually like the pacing for this movie for what it is. Like, I don't have any complaints about the quality of the filmmaking. It's just this is not a fun noir crime movie.
No. That's a shame too.
And it kind of plays like it is one in the beginning because it's all that's pretty tough talk, Jake. It's all fun.
Yeah, and he's snappy and stuff.
Yeah, and
it goes to a dark place.
So cool. Yeah, exactly. Like Nicholson's so cool in the beginning, and it's all.
So she says to me, "Why are you making love like a Chinaman?"
Oh my god! Did anybody else not see why at that very moment there was no other actor that anybody would have ever cast as the Joker in 1989? Because when he tells that joke and he does that laugh, I was like, "Well,
that got him
the job right there."
Right.
And young Nicholson was pretty fucking cool. Like, he's a slick talking, good looking guy. And so like the dark place that Chinatown goes is it blindsided me. And the worst part is I knew how it ended. I knew that I know who died. Like I'd had it spoiled for me already. This is my first viewing, so I already knew. It's not like I was like, what? But just to watch it, it was just terrible. So I don't know if I would recommend this because it's if you're sitting around going, I really feel like being sad tonight. Give Chinatown a try. But if you want to enjoy a movie, like this might sound weird, if you want a good time period movie, you should watch The Untouchables.
No,
Maltese Falcon.
That does sound weird.
Maltese Falcon.
Maltese.
No, how about Inherent Vice is a good new period noir movie. I don't know if anybody else has heard of that or seen it.
It's
It's the latest Paul Thomas Anderson movie where Joaquin Phoenix plays a stoner detective.
Oh, right. Okay.
You know what? You want to see
And
a
it's
good
neo-noir.
detective movie? Watch The Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
That's one of the best contemporary noirs ever. Okay.
Yes.
One more question. Bad for Glass. So fine, but that bothered me a lot. And the funny thing is, though, the first scene with him, I didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about. I was like, "What is a pond of a glass bottom?" Or what? Wasn't until he comes back and gets a wheelbarrow full of sod and grass that I was like, "Oh, it's a racist thing." So here's where I'm lost, fellas. Somebody help me out. He finds the glasses in the pond. He takes them to the confrontation. She says, those aren't Hollis's glasses. He doesn't wear bifocals.
Yep.
Yes.
So, whose were they? And
they're her dads.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Yeah, they're
I could
the
not
dads.
Find in the movie how Giddys would put that together.
Because he had the dad pull out a checkbook and look at something, and the dad pulls out his glasses with the bifocals. I was watching for that to happen, and he did. He pulled out a pair of glasses that were bifocals. No, it's afterwards.
When he comes to the house.
It's after.
Okay, so
yes.
when the cackling villain is revealed. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
I knew that must be the connection, but I was like, but how did he get there? You know, all right, that's why.
Yeah.
I figured it must have been in there somewhere. I must have just missed it. So, yeah, that's about all I got for Chinatown.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so who's next?
I'd like to go next.
All right, Jamie,
go for it.
All right. I had seen this movie before, but it's been a long time. Back in the early 2000s, I got on this like classic movie kick. This was back when Netflix was sending movies to your house.
Oh.
They still do,
through
Jamie.
The post. I know they still do, but who does that? Who really has the DVD service anymore?
I don't know.
I know one person. I know
Yeah,
one person
me
who
neither.
does. It's my
I know one person
and it's
as well.
Grandpa. So.
See, for me, it's my friend who's the same age as me, but he works out in remote areas in the Texas desert. So he just gets like 4 DVDs and then just sits in his truck and watches them while he's at work because he can't get like any signal whatsoever.
Right. Well, that was the last time and it was, like I said, early 2000s, so I don't remember anything about it. I do remember that Jack Nicholson was in it and Faye Dunaway, and I remembered it was film noir. That's all I remembered. I forgot the reveal and everything like that.
Did you forget his nose getting cut?
Yeah, I pretty much forgot everything about it. All I remembered is that it was film noir and Jack Nicholson and Faye Dunaway were in it. That's all I remember. It's called Chinatown for some reason. So the movie starts, and the first thing I think is, "Holy crap, it's Paulie!"
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah,
Paulie's
he's back for
playing
the third
another
time.
Woman abusing piece of shit.
I know, playing another. Like he really got typecasted, poor guy.
Yeah, an unfortunate typecast.
She ain't no good.
Yeah,
that's his catchphrase. She ain't no good. She ain't no good.
It ain't no good. And then I started thinking, it's like, the 30s. You got cool cars, cool costumes, and rampant racism.
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Do you accept people of the Hebrew persuasion at this nursing home? No, sir, we don't. That's
My
what
father
I thought.
doesn't either.
My dad doesn't either. Yeah.
Jeez, that's just lovely, isn't it?
I know. It's like, he's all like, "No, it's cool. I'm racist too."
This is Hollywood. Who would think it? Come on.
He took a gamble and he won on that one. Next note I have is Jack playing Jake. Flex those acting muscles. Now, Jack Nicholson is so Jack Nicholson in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say that Jack Nicholson has a lot of range. He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those guys that shows up and plays Jack Nicholson. With maybe the exception of the Joker. I was trying to think of like some of the other roles that he had that were like kind of a departure. And the Joker, still a lot of Jack in there, but he does kind of go off and kind of do his own thing with the Joker. But I can't really
The Departed wasn't a departure.
God.
Wasn't?
That was.
I was just going to interject
Hey,
here.
guys.
Jack Nicholson is not the only actor who shows up and plays Jack Nicholson. That honor also goes to Ray Liotta and Christian Slater.
Oh
Yeah, Christian Slater for sure.
There's a whole bunch of actors that do that.
No, we mean actors that show up and play Jack Nicholson. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to meet a dame who was her sister's mother.
You can't handle the truth.
That sounds like Christian Slater to me.
Like there's any difference, really.
As far back as I can remember, I've always wanted to kill Batman.
Sorry,
Like-
Jamie.
That's all right. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh well, moving on. Since when does PI have a staff? Now I remember from all the film noir I've seen, which is probably just a handful, but it's always kind of like a loner. You know, he's got his own office, and he might have a brother or a partner. Not a brother. Brother specifically would be Roger Rabbit. But if there was, they might have a partner, but it's usually just kind of a one-man operation.
No, you see, all those guys, they're like, I was down on my luck. I was down to my last nickel.
Right.
And then a dame walks in.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's like,
well, but there are some successful ones, right?
There would have to be.
It would have to be. But he's actually got subordinates, which I thought was interesting. He had two guys that he was in charge of. So I thought that was interesting to take note. So when Jack's on the roof taking pictures, it's interesting how he becomes invisible simply by getting out of frame.
That's thing all over again.
It's like, well, if the camera can't see me, they obviously can't see me.
The Confederate garrison all over again.
That's the ostrich effect. If you put your head in the sand, then nobody can see you.
Golden child effect.
Just need some chips, man. Just want some chips.
Next note I have is in the barber shop when he's getting a shave, he's having an argument with the mortgage broker. And I think that is pointing to the times where it's like they were saying he was getting all on his ass because it's like, well, how many houses did you foreclose on? You know, just from the coming off of the Depression.
Yeah.
And still like reeling from that. And then it's like, well, you know, you're making a living off of other people's misery and all that stuff. And they had that argument.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And then
nowadays
comes the
that
Chinaman
argument's
joke.
like, I have a job. No, you don't. Who cares?
Oh,
if
you
you're
got
any,
me.
Who cares if you're any good or your job does any good in the world?
Next note I have is about the Chinaman joke. And I wrote here, sounds like a James Shaggy Dog story, but less racist.
Wow, that was a prophetic note.
And then I said, I don't get it. What's wrong with reading ancient Chinese philosophy and contemplating the mood during sex? Doesn't everybody? Then the next note I have is about Bad for the Glass.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was watching that particular part with Jess, my wife, and we had the subs on, and it said Bad for the Glass, and he kept repeating it. And I looked at her and I go, what the hell is he talking about? And Jess was like, glass, grass. I was like, oh, right.
It takes a white person to understand these nuances, Jamie.
I guess. It's like, oh, sir. All right.
Believe me, we know all the racism.
We invented it.
Mulray's dead. I bet it was suicide because it's 30 minutes into the 2-hour movie. The next note.
The end, and credits roll very slowly.
The next scene, or the next note I have is about that scene where he's talking to the kid on the horse, and the kid's riding away and kicking the shit out of that horse.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like wailing on it. I felt bad for the horse. And it's just... it kind of reeked of like this kid's never been on a horse before and this is what they told him to do, so that's what he's doing. He's just kicking the shit out of it. Cutting the nose scene, I thought it had the appropriate blood splurt, And I thought that Jack took it way too well. Because he didn't say a word. He just kind of went, oh. Like, I would imagine a little bit more of a scream or a cuss or something, but he didn't do anything. And then also I have in my notes that the nose-cutting guy was Roman Polanski, which we already talked about before. And did you know that the soundtrack was done by having Polanski's cat walk on the piano?
No!
Is that true?
As far as I'm concerned. The reveal where it's found out that the woman that came to see him wasn't actually Mrs. Mulray, and it's Ida Sessions is on the phone. And I said, totally real name.
Okay, can I admit something
Oh my God,
shameful to you?
I just got that.
I mentioned before we started recording that I made 2 attempts to watch this movie, and I was so out of it on my first attempt in terms of paying attention, I didn't realize that it was actually 2 different women.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, why is she covering up that she came here? What's the deal? Why is she so... Am I missing something? I didn't get that Faye Dunaway wasn't the first lady that came.
Even when Jack Nicholson goes, no, I don't recognize you.
That's where my brain was. Like I said, I wasn't having a particularly smart day.
I don't recognize anybody. But that's just my face blindness.
The face blindness, yeah.
Yeah. I'd imagine any movie would be difficult for the face blind.
Man.
Except like maybe Castaway or something.
Well, wait, Wilson was a ball?
It was way sadder than when it was an actual person that fell off the raft and floated away off into the fucking... Yeah, why didn't he just swim back to the raft?
He was so quiet.
Wilson!
Aww. Wilson!
And also, when she was on the phone and he's trying to yell to his subordinate, shut the fuck up, and she's like, excuse me? I thought that was pretty good. Because that's always happened. And then Higgins from Magnum P.I. shows up.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Hillerman.
Wait, who's that?
Surprise Higgins. He was the deputy.
Yeah. What was his name? Like Yell something. YEL something.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I can't remember his name either. But he's
also in Blazing Saddles. Yeah, it was like Yelberg or Yelbertson or something. Yeah. He's Howard Johnson.
Yeah, that's right.
Man, it's been a long time since I've seen it. I don't remember. Fish served with the head on. Asians love to eat the face. Now, that's not in the movie, actually, but it happens. I really worded this note very weird, but...
But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because
whenever I go to a Chinese restaurant, I would always go with a lot of my relatives, and they would always order these crazy fish dishes where the fish would actually still have the head on. And I remember one of the most recent ones I went to, the head and like maraschino cherries stuck in the eyes. It was very disturbing, and they sat it up so it looked at you right in the face with his maraschino cherry eyes. It was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, like eating the eyes is a thing too.
Well,
right?
I don't know if the eyes were actually still there or just pierced with toothpicks, but it was like it was there, and they like it with the head on because then they can like pick at the meat on the face, which is a big thing for Asians apparently, and it always creeped me the hell out. So I thought that was interesting that he had the fish served with the head on. Oh, Noah Cross plays an oil tycoon well, except it's water.
Yeah.
He's basically like Rich Texan from The Simpsons.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the hat. And...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he is an oil baron, except it's water instead of oil. Yeah, he's a water baron.
Which is all like in California and everything, which I thought was kind of interesting. It's like, oh, this is about like the issue with not having enough water in California, which is a very real problem still. So, but I guess from what I understand, they're building like a refinery or something out in the middle of the ocean. It's supposed to be converting ocean water to drinking water. Have you heard anything about that?
Mm-mm. No,
I have not.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about it. I don't know if it's been okayed or anything, but that's like
I imagine it's a pipe dream.
Fun tag.
I had to get mine in.
You're making Eric pretty salty over there.
Okay, here I have in my notes. This is where I fell asleep. I was out for about 10 minutes. It was like...
Okay, so that makes 3 out of the 5 of us that fell asleep during this movie, right? John, John, you fell asleep during this movie? Wow!
I'm interested to know where everybody fell asleep, but I fell asleep at the point...
If I knew we could only watch part of the movie, I would have played more Skyrim yesterday.
Yes, I would have played more Madden yesterday. Sports!
But I fell asleep probably at the time when... what was it? Because I actually did go back after the movie was done and pick up what I missed. But it was like, I think it was when the cops showed up and were like hassling Jake about stuff.
Yeah, and then Jake has them drive him over to Paulie's house, and then Paulie gives him a ride.
There was about 10 minutes in there where I was kind of nodding off, and then...
There's like 10 minutes in there of people getting in and out of cars and walking around.
That was about it. And I nodded off, and I woke up, and I'm like, wait, what the hell is happening? I woke up just before the slapping started. So the next note I have is my sister-daughter's seen slapstick. Because it was like... I know it's a very poignant scene, and it's very like incest rape stuff. But... I've seen that scene parodied a couple times, and to actually see how ridiculous it is with the...
Right.
It's like she says a word, and then she gets smacked, and she says another word, and gets backhanded, and it's like back and forth and saying words. It's just like... It struck...
Oh, is this what they were parodying in Airplane?
Yeah, and I think they did it in Naked Gun also. Like, it's... Or one of some other Leslie Nielsen movie.
And slaps and grabs the hand, and then he gets slapped again, and grabs the other hand, and then he gets slapped again.
Yep, it's been parodied a few times. So now to see the actual one, to see how ridiculous it is. Like the one I remember was from Venture Brothers, actually. It was when...
your mother! Your father!
Yes.
Your mother! Your father!
yes, that one. And it was just like, God, that's so weird. And it's just like, I'm laughing at it, even though it's a really bad, like, kind of scene. Seeing all the parodies first kind of ruined it for me, I guess. Like, ruined the impact that it was supposed to have. Then... Cross is trying to stop his daughter, his daughter. What would it be to him?
His daughter.
It's his daughter.
His daughter. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just his daughter.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But when he's trying to pull her out of the car, he gets shot by what's her name? Faye Dunaway. Can't remember her character's name.
Yes, his daughter's baby mama, aka his daughter.
He gets shot in the arm and he barely flinches. It's very much like some of the deaths in The Good and Bad and the Ugly. It's just kind of like get a shot and it's like, ooh, and you grab it, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I figured for some reason he had a bulletproof vest on.
That's kind of what it seemed like. But he like staggered while he was walking toward the car later.
Yeah, I guess he probably was bleeding out, huh?
Seriously, he got shot.
Well, but then he made it. But then he made it to the car and like walked away with the girl, right?
Oh yeah.
So like
crashed or whatever, or came to a stop.
Yeah, after they killed the mom daughter.
And then I have in my notes, oh shit, through the eye. So it's like,
oh jeez,
that was gross. Whoa! It was kind of like one of those whoa moments when it's like all of a sudden, wow.
Yeah, they didn't need to show that, and they just went for it.
Yeah,
it was like whoa.
Like they could have just kept the tone somber and had her like just kind of slumped over the steering wheel, but no, they had to show you, which I thought was just Catherine does some of the best acting in the movie here when she's screaming and crying. It's very convincing.
Oh yeah.
Then I kind of wrap up the review here with an overall 3 out of 5 stars. Decent story, as good acting as can be expected from the 70s, but it's also way better than the 50s because my wife and I are watching old episodes of The Twilight Zone. and I'll manage that acting like non-existent.
I'm here to buy a newspaper. Here you are. Thank you.
Yes, exactly.
You're my favorite customer.
It's just like
come again, please.
It's kind of off-putting how bad the acting is from those. But like some of the readings in this movie were very nonchalant or very just that readings.
Yes, you could. Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to bring that up in my part. Well, that like you could tell that like there was a scene where Jack Nicholson's sitting across the table from Faye Dunaway, and they're both reading, and like it's pretty obvious.
I also say Jack always plays Jack, except maybe Joker, but he can't be denied the charisma that he brings to the screen. He's also one of those guys that like, just makes you want to watch. I mean, he is a draw. He's a box office draw.
Mm-hmm. He's like Tom Cruise. Like Tom Cruise does the same thing. They're not stretching, but their charisma gets you.
Yeah.
At least for me, I love Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson.
I actually really like Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise, I don't know. I'm still floored by his portrayal, his terrible portrayal in Tropic Thunder. I mean that'll get me every time.
Amazing.
It is amazing, and it's just so left field.
I'll also admit to some Tom Cruise love. Just watched Edge of Tomorrow like a couple weeks ago.
That's a great movie.
Fucking sweet, and he was great in it.
That's a really good movie.
I bought that movie and I've watched it like 4 times since I bought it. I love that movie.
It's a good movie, man.
So, Jamie, how do you feel about your review?
I feel content.
All right. Eric, that leaves you.
Yeah. So really, there's not a lot more to get into about the meat of the movie itself. The pacing is slow. It was slow to me. I didn't fall asleep, but I did spend a lot of time looking at my phone while like Jack Nicholson's getting in and out of his car. Like this movie didn't command my attention. It just kind of was happening in front of me.
It does get really easy to just kind of stray and start doing other things while watching this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Which brought my mind to kind of a question that I want to pose to the crew. And the question is, can we separate the art from the artist? Can we like Woody Allen movies, even though it's pretty likely that he's a weirdo? Can we like Roman Polanski movies, even though he's an admitted statutory rapist? Like there are a lot of instances where artists do bad things, and especially like in our current culture, like say Kanye West.
You call Kanye
made another album. Let's say he made another album.
Okay, probably a bad example because he already does crazy stuff.
Yeah.
But like just say,
all right. Here's my example, which is actually kind of tailored to you, Eric. I'm gonna use Michael Vick. All right, Michael Vick, football player. He was really good, and then it turns out that he gleefully was into dogfighting, and he hurt a lot of animals, and there's a big scandal, and they were wondering if they're going to let him play again, and he came back, and they allowed him to play football again, and he got on the field, and he was, he's a good football player, like he's really good, and so then the dialogue suddenly started changing, where like people were like, dude, Michael Vick is a scumbag because he's a fucking dogfighter, and people would say something like, well, he is doing a lot of good things right now, but all he was doing was playing football well.
Right. Yeah. He was just back out there and playing football again. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there was no redemption.
I went through this exact same thing when Paul Rubens got pulled in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so I want to answer the specific thing. Like, there are a lot of things that happen in sports that like make me go, do I really want to be into this? And like, football is the worst of them all.
Oh yeah.
And like I'm actively asking myself, is this really something I like? And the product, on Sunday until through present has been enough to make me go, I can compartmentalize the the product from the producer in that situation. So like that's where I am on football right now.
I was going to say, I have thought about this a lot. And especially in today's like PC world with, I don't mean that to be disparaging, but there is this whole like thing where like people will just get outraged and decry anything a person does when they slip up or make a mistake or willingly, wantingly do something hateful or evil. And I feel that we as a species are capable of ambivalence, and ambivalence is always looked on as a detriment. But I feel like if we were to understand ourselves and understand that we are being ambivalent, then we can say, yeah, I don't like the people who did this, but this thing that they made is actually really good.
So you're saying it's okay to not care?
It's okay to use ambivalence as a tool.
Well, yeah. I mean, Michael Vick was a good football player. He also organized dogfighting. But that doesn't make him any less of a good football player.
Right. And when the part of him that I'm not specifically a Michael Vick fan, but I'm a fan of the larger product. And when the larger product is something I really like, I can look away, I suppose, from the personal problems that the producers have had. I don't know, John, what was your conflict with Paul Rubens?
I love Paul Rubens, and I still love Paul Rubens. And the fact that when he got busted, for the masturbation, then that led to the bigger thing with his house getting raided and him basically getting all that vintage porn. And while it was found out to be completely false, for a while there, he was getting the child pornography racket.
Mm. Oh, I guess I didn't hear about that. I thought it was just the masturbation.
It was strictly false. The child porn was completely false.
Yep, completely.
He liked porn.
He loved porn.
Well,
yeah, he loved porn.
Don't we all? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I mean, is having your dick out in public really a crime?
Yeah, James has done that all his life.
We're just waiting. We're waiting for it to come out.
But and I still love Paul Rubens, and I think he's hilarious. But it was a big like somebody did something shitty, and at the time they were saying that he was doing something really, really shitty. I mean, child porn. That's like real fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a wonderful here's a really to the point question. Can we enjoy the Cosby Show?
No. Yes, that's actually what I was going to bring up. I was going to say that would be my example. It's because it's very much on everybody's mind now.
Yeah,
and what he did was so bad. But the history that he has with so many successes with the Cosby Show and his comedy and everything, and influencing so many stand-up comedians, and I'm a big stand-up fan, and I was a Cosby fan.
Mm-hmm.
Not as of late. There's
obviously
now, but...
and us saying that we like the product doesn't condone any of the actions.
Right.
I'm sure none of us are condoning any of these actions.
No.
Yeah.
No. But I also think that if we like the product, we're gonna like it regardless.
Well,
really.
I want to know if that's where Jamie was going with that. It sounded like you had more. Do you?
No, that's pretty much what I meant. It's is that something that is not overlooked? That's not the right word, but it's is that something you could put aside to actually go back and watch the Cosby Show and enjoy it without?
I never really liked the Cosby Show.
I used to. I used to love the Cosby Show, but
yeah, Colin, I want to hear what you have to say about this because it sounds like you have an opinion on it.
Cosby's the perfect example, and I have a second, and these are two where I have found that the wrongdoing does outweigh my enjoyment of the product. And unfortunately, one of them is Cosby, and I did really like Bill Cosby for my entire childhood. It was one of the few shows we were allowed to watch in my house, and I used to think of Bill Cosby as one of the funniest guys ever. now I don't have any interest in even revisiting the stuff of his that I used to enjoy. And that was a tough one for me because he was kind of one of my comedic heroes. But when the evidence against him was so overwhelming, and you're not talking about like a one-time indiscretion, you're talking about
like a
pattern of behavior. I mean, practiced pattern of behavior. And the other one, that I would go with similarly is I don't like Woody Allen anymore after his scandal, and his was a little bit more murky in terms of whether or not he was guilty, but it really colored my perception of him and all of his work. And I'm glad that we reviewed Annie Hall, but by that time it was already sort of too late. Like in a situation where we're reviewing movies, I'm not going to take a stand and tell you I refuse to watch a Woody Allen movie, but I already knew that I thought Woody Allen was a scumbag, and frankly, I'm going to see everything that he does through that lens. And I used to think he was a genius.
Yeah, and like another example of this is Pete Townsend was found with child porn on his computer, and he explained it away as, he was doing research about his own experiences in childhood, which that's how he got away with it. Or that's how he didn't go to jail for child pornography.
When did that happen?
In the early 2000s.
Oh.
Yeah.
Man, I completely missed that one.
Right. So it's a really kind of murky idea, or like there's a particular NFL player right now named Greg Hardy, who is a unrepentant woman abuser, and like they're like the NFL is just still letting him play, and it's making me really upset. And so like it's hard to deal with liking something but not wanting to like it because of the people and their choices that are doing it. So like Rome, I suppose like okay, so here's an example of like the spectrum of like what you will change for something like this and what you won't. So I'm still watching NFL games, but I am not eating Subway sandwiches. Well, no, the difference there is Subway sandwiches taste like shit, and I didn't really like them that much in the first place. So like if Jared's a fucking pedophile, it's like a great excuse to never eat Subway again.
Like the Chick-fil-A boycotts. Like, there's not a Chick-fil-A within 100 miles of me. That was a really easy boycott for me to take part in.
Right. So it's I guess it's a tough question. I experienced both sides of it, and I don't know where I'm coming down on it. I just wanted to kind of have the conversation. So that's my part.
Yep.
Yeah, Eric came up with the ponderance, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It was a perplexing ponderance. And I think that's certainly something that everyone has to struggle with at some time, because heroes always fail and people are generally shitty. So if you like something, you will eventually be disappointed by that thing.
Yeah.
Unless it's Mr. Rogers.
True.
That's the
Fred
one
Rogers
exception.
may be the only perfect human being.
Well, except for the fact that he's dead.
Way to fuck it up,
Fred. Okay, Michael Jackson's a good example.
I was just thinking that. I was just going to bring that up.
Like, there are people that defend that, like, Michael Jackson's a tough one because it's never...
Yeah, it's a real tough one, because I really like Michael Jackson's early music.
Like, it's tough! This is hard! Like, people are shitty!
Eric, you have found a very, very hard thought.
Very perplexing.
I don't know how to answer.
Right, neither do I!
Because there are some things, and I really think it just comes down to how much I like a certain thing. There are some things that I will never defend what these people did. I will never, I will never support what they did. But I really like Off the Wall, and I'm going to still listen to that, and it's still gonna make me smile. So yes, I can divorce that. But that's because I really fucking like it. I don't give a shit about the Cosby Show. So if I watched an episode and saw Bill Cosby, I would be like, fucking rapist, and turn it off.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, turn it off and pump up the fucking gotta be starting something.
exactly, right? Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah, wrap us up, Johnny.
I'm going to wrap us up. You know what? And this is going to be kind of a John Hates Movies first. I'm not actually even going to review this movie.
Stop out.
And the reason is that I actually think everybody pretty much said what needs to be said. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
I will, however, let you know the point in which I fell asleep.
Yeah.
Which is the point in the movie where, and I can't remember the fake name. Jamie, provide me with the fake name of the woman.
Ida Sessions.
Ida Sessions.
Ida
Yeah.
Sessions. I fell asleep right after Ida Sessions got on the phone. That's where I fell asleep. So as you can tell, it's pretty early.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd seen this movie a couple of times in my past. It does hold a special place in my heart just because of how dark it is. Because the first time I watched this, I myself was in a really dark place. And in a weird sort of way, this appealed to me.
It appealed to the darkness.
It appealed to the darkness inside my
Right.
soul. It was the 90s. We were allowed to say things like that.
Yeah.
And write them on napkins and talking about them on poetry
Oh my
slams.
god.
So,
Oh boy.
yep. Open mic night.
I haven't forgotten.
At the Cafe Latte.
At the Cafe Latte.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So,
I want to know
honestly,
when anybody else fell asleep, too. Like,
oh,
like when did
Eric,
James fall asleep?
Eric didn't fall asleep. James, when did you fall asleep?
Can't really. No, I can't remember. I know. Yeah, I can't even remember when I fell asleep. The first time last night was, it was shortly after they pulled his body out of the reservoir.
Okay.
And then the next time after that, some people were talking, and like I said, I must have fell asleep for about 10, 15 minutes, and I woke up to Jack Nicholson getting punched in the face in an orange
All
grove,
right.
So.
By the Domokies.
Colin?
Oh, I stayed awake for the whole thing.
Oh.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing start to finish.
Oh, Eric, did you fall asleep?
No. But Colin, the first time you tried to watch it, you fell asleep, right?
No.
What? Didn't you
No,
just
the first
say that?
time he turned it off.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. Jessica and I
Okay.
were trying to watch it together, and we both agreed
Okay.
that it just wasn't happening.
This may be painting an unfair picture about this film. If you've never seen it, it is a classic, and I think it is worth a watch if you're somebody who's really interested in film. If you're somebody who just likes good movies, you might want to bow out on this one.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Go watch Sunset Boulevard instead. That one's just as dark and kind of almost even creepier, but it's got much better pacing.
Or Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland Drive scares the shit out of me.
That makes me want to watch
Was that
it.
David Lynch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
David Lynch is very
Wait, is
good about creeping Johnny the fuck out. Like, I honestly
Well, now I wanna
think
watch it.
that was pretty much what he... I think David Lynch pretty much makes films just to creep me the fuck out.
Yeah, it's some good noir, Colin. It's good stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I was thinking L.A. Confidential when you
Oh, I
said
like that
Mulholland
one.
Drive.
LA
That's
Confidential's
a great
awesome.
I was going to say that's one of my favorites.
We'll be right back after the break, and
James, gonna run the game for us. Show his dick to everybody.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. We have all heard that John hates movies. John hates bad movies. But there's one thing he hates even more than that. Being forced to watch bad movies. But you guys, you love it, don't you? You sick, twisted little freaks. Well then, I have got some news that'll make your little sadistic heart jump with joy. You, the listener, can once again force us to watch bad movies. How do you do it? Well, it's simple. Every podcast will ask you a podcast question of the week. It'll be a simple question like, if you had all the time and money in the world, who would you eat? Simply post your answer to the John Hates Movies Facebook page with your listener suggestion. Do not post the question on the Facebook page. If you post the question, your post will be deleted and you will be disqualified for that week. Only post your answer. If you want to win, you have to listen to the goddamn podcast. Every week a winner will be chosen. From there, it only gets more complicated. Every 3 weeks, the winners will be signed randomly to one of our panels to play the game. That winner will be forced to choose your movie. We watch your horrendous movie, and you're forced to listen to our podcast. Everybody wins. And as always, thanks for listening to John Hates Movies.
This week's question is, what's your private detective name? And we're back. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and it is now time for the game. So, James, you are running it. What have you got?
All right. So for this one, let's see. I'm gonna try to do a British voice because we are playing QI.
Wait, what the fuck is QI?
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Stephen Fry.
QI stands
all the
for
girls
quite
say,
interesting.
I am pretty fry for a white guy.
God.
Come on, I'm not. I'm not Ricky Gervais. Like, what is this?
You should do
I'm
well,
laughing at
Eric.
Eric's
It's
reaction.
trivia.
I love that.
Oh, it's trivia.
Yes,
Okay.
it's trivia.
Oh, good.
Yeah, this is just a basic
Oh,
trivia
okay.
game. The only rules are, of course, if you can come up with something funny, you get a point. If you can come up with something related to the question that is interesting, you also get
What
a
about
point.
correct?
So, yes, of course.
Minus
all these
the point.
questions, minus the point. All these questions are multiple choice. I'll direct them
Did you say
to
rectum?
one person if they don't get it.
I'll do
Yes, I
it.
will
Damn
direct them.
near kill them.
I'll direct them to one player. If they don't get it, it goes to the board. You know,
Okay.
whoever can get it can get it. All right. So,
So,
all right. Let's do the first one. This is all Hollywood and crime movie
All right.
trivia.
oh,
Cool.
Back in 1912, there was a movie made based off of the recent Titanic disaster. The title of this film was...
Wait, who's
Yeah, who's this for?
Oh, yes, okay. Rando.
Some guy.
I'll go with John.
Okay.
Okay. So the title of this movie, was it A, Titanic, B, You Can't Take It With You, C, The Titan, D, A Night to Remember, or E, White Men Can't Float?
It was The Titan.
No, that's not correct. Any of you other guys?
I would guess You Can't Take It With You.
Nope. The answer was A Night to Remember. So 0 points so far.
Oh.
Yeah, go on, hell of a
Strong
name.
start, guys.
Looking
I'm in
good.
the lead.
Yep. All right, so next I'll go with Jamie. During the filming of The African Queen...
Why give him that? Because he's not white?
Yeah, why does it have to be racist, James?
It's not racist. I know that movie.
For
It's not
Christ's sake, he's
racist.
not African.
Well, actually, the movie's
It's-
incredibly racist, but James
Yeah,
isn't being.
it's a classic. So anyway, they had several problems
Your mom's a classic.
during the production.
If you got James rolling his eye.
All right. So during the filming of The African Queen, there was issues, big issues. Was it Bogart would fart every time Katharine Hepburn tried to say a line?
Huh.
Was it Katharine Hepburn getting sick because everyone was a supreme alcoholic and she was the only one who drank water? Or was it the studio paid out millions of dollars to cover up the mistress of Peter Bull because she was black?
Which one of those wonderful answers was it?
Yep.
What are the second two again? No, I remember. Okay, I remember.
Alcohol?
What was the second
This one only has 3. This one only has
The
3.
second one was the alcohol thing, right?
Yeah.
Third one was black.
Go with racism. It always works in Cards Against Humanity.
I'm gonna say oofta. No, wait. Yes, I'll go with the third one.
Okay. The panel. What are you gonna go?
Panel goes with
fart.
number 2.
Colin.
Eric says alcohol.
Gary Busey.
Okay, Eric, you get a point.
Oh.
The
It wasn't
answer
the fart?
Gary Busey?
You told me to go with racism, damn it.
I set you up, you fool.
Yes. Humphrey Bogart and the rest of the cast were all raging alcoholics, and Katharine Hepburn decided to drink only water in protest, and ended up getting, I believe, diphtheria.
Wow.
That's what you get.
That never happened on Murder, She Wrote.
Okay, so Colin.
So whose point was that?
Eric's
Then?
point.
That was Eric's
Yeah.
Okay, so Colin, you like cartoons. This one hopefully
you
will
mean
be
by
very
that?
easy. These original for your sake. These original voice actors for a cartoon couple ended up getting married in real life. Was it Popeye and Olive Oyl, Mickey and Minnie, or Betty Boop and Bosco?
I'm going to go with Popeye and Olive Oyl.
No, how about the panel?
Damn it.
Betty Boop and Bosco.
Nope. Okay, so
I'm gonna say
no. John came in first. Nobody gets a point for that one.
Okay.
It was actually the voice actors for Mickey and Minnie.
How did
Yes, and their marriage.
Disney I'm surprised they allowed that.
Yeah. Well, their marriage lasted 12 years, long for a Hollywood marriage, but it ended disastrously. In the court transcripts, the judge said.
Okay.
The judge said.
I was just about to go into this, but by all means, go ahead.
The judge said to Mickey, "You can't divorce your wife simply because she's a little strange." And he said, "That's not what I meant when I said she's fucking goofy."
Oh, James.
Oh, come on, that's a pun, John. You love it.
I feel like I first heard that joke from Jamie Donaldson's father.
If there was ever a king of dad jokes, it's got to be my dad.
Mike Donaldson.
All right, James, ask me a question. Come on.
Okay, Eric. All right. Citizen Kane. William Randolph Hearst found out that they were Orson Welles was making a movie about him and got extremely angry. What did he do to try to sabotage Orson's not his career, but his what is a public
Persona?
perception? His
Credibility?
what do you call? Yes, what did he do to try to destroy Orson Welles' credibility?
Okay.
Was it 1, hire a bunch of actors to place him in a staged communist rally?
Huh.
Hire a few actors to stage a surprise romantic tryst in his hotel room?
Okay.
Hire a lookalike and a bunch of actors to stage a raucous bar fight?
Are those my options?
Those are your options.
I am gonna go with the communist rally.
Nope. The panel. First one.
Bar fight.
Nope. Okay. All right.
Damn.
You guys are getting any of these.
Well, Eric's ahead with 1 point. The rest of us are all tied with 0.
He hired a either a working girl or like a porno actor, an actress and a photographer, and he was going to have the actress jump into his arms when he opened the hotel room door, and the photographer take a picture of them instantly in order to ruin his credibility.
Wow.
Yeah. However, he did
Pretty
actually,
flimsy.
he did accuse Orson Welles of being a communist several times. Yes.
See, the communist thing is one I was
Right,
gonna
that
say.
seemed like plausible because like everybody was getting blacklisted for being a pinko.
Yeah. All right, so The Shining.
Okay.
Whose question?
John's question now?
Yes, I guess this is John's question.
I know The Shining, damn it.
I know, that's what I was just thinking.
Okay.
Never seen it, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen The Shining.
Eric.
Oh, that's true. Oh, yeah, Eric, you shouldn't watch that movie.
Really? Is it scary?
Oh, it's very scary.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah.
And the pacing
it's all-
is terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It's all
And
atmosphere.
Jack Nicholson.
It's hardly any horror and all atmosphere, so I don't think you would do well with it. All right, so The Shining, the blood elevator shot took a year to get in the can. Why did it take a year? Was it because the volume of blood kept breaking the set and they had to manufacture new ways of building sets in order to withstand the amount of blood? Was it Jack Nicholson kept on wandering on the set and farting during their takes? Was it 3 because the effect took 9 days to set up every time?
I'm gonna go with the effect took 9 days to set up every time.
All right, John, you get a point.
Yeah!
Wow.
I forgot.
Me and Eric.
I forgot to mention that that also they did a number of shots without getting it in the can because they take 9 days to set it up, open the doors, and just do a test run. And Cooper kept on saying it didn't look like blood.
I think I heard that.
All right. I realize I probably need another question here. Oh well. So let's see. Next, Jamie. Right? Okay.
Yep.
Casablanca. All right. So,
Okay.
this is just a simple true or false. One of these is true. The rest of them are false. Was it most of the Nazis were played by German Jewish refugees? Was
True or false?
well, I mean, I'm going to give you all three, and you tell me which one is actually true. Okay.
Okay.
Was it?
I mean, that's what we've been
Sort of
doing
like-
the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
Well, normally there's a little bit of a setup. This one, there's no setup. It's just Casablanca.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay.
Was it that during the titular "Here's Looking at You" scene, Humphrey Bogart kept farting during his lines?
Okay.
One of these fart answers is going to be right.
I know.
Was it? It was based on a play that only played one time. Was a financial flop called "Everyone Loves Ricks."
Ew.
That's the true one.
No, the panel. What do you have?
I was gonna wait.
Shit.
What were the farting again? And what was the other one?
The Nazis.
Farting.
Yeah.
Farting.
Jews.
I'm going with farting.
Choose.
John, you get a second point.
God
So
damn
John's
it.
in the lead.
What?
Yeah.
They were,
Fuck that.
Yep, all
Gary
the,
Busey.
keep in mind, this movie was filmed shortly after World War II, and many of the Nazis were played by German Jewish refugees. And during the singing where they were singing over the some Nazi anthem, and they were singing like some French song or something like that. Several of the cast just broke out in tears, and that was all real because they were fresh out of the war.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Next time, try acting.
Keep in mind, if anybody has any trivia about any of the movies that I mentioned so far, you can gain a point.
Let's see.
All right, keep
All
going,
right.
James.
Humphrey.
Let's wrap
Bogart.
this up while I'm in the lead.
All right, so Colin.
Yes.
All right, the usual suspects. During the lineup scene, It was supposed to be played straight.
Benicio del Toro
damn it.
farts.
I can't hear.
It was supposed to be played completely straight, but something kept on cracking the actors up. Was it Kevin Spacey kept on making jokes and calling people racist epithets, white racist epithets, like fucking Mick and
Pollock.
Old-fashioned white-on-white racism.
Yep.
Yes, my favorite kind.
Did he call Kevin Pollock?
Was it Kevin Pollock kept on making impressions of the cast and cartoon characters having sex? Or was it Benicio del Toro kept farting?
Farting.
Colin, you get a point.
See, that's unfair.
Come on! Of course it was fucking Benicio del Toro and not fucking Humphrey Bogart with the fucking farts. Come on!
There's a
One played a 300-pound Samoan, and one played the smoothest guy of all time. Jeez.
I've got a TV funhouse I need to show you.
I love stories about actors farting. That always makes me really happy. Do you know who farted a lot in Fight Club?
Dave Thomas, founder of Wendy's.
I'm back, baby.
You got it, man. You got it big time.
Colin's in the lead with 4 points.
Yeah! I'm back, baby.
And you know what? I mean, that was my last question. I was going to come up with some more bullshit.
Yeah, no, game's over. I don't need another question. I don't need another question. Game's
Colin
over.
wins.
Yes!
Colin, you have won the game. You won it in style.
Anything interesting, but you came up with a Dave Thomas to pull
That's right.
So, Colin, what are we watching
We
next
are
week?
watching Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh,
What?
Oh, okay.
fun.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Big Trouble in Little
Hey, it's
Chinatown.
Brovember.
Big Trouble in Little
So,
China.
you guys heard it?
Yeah, is Kurt Russell my bro?
Kurt Russell is your bro.
Kurt Russell is your bro. You guys heard it here first. We're watching Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Big Trouble in Little China.
Is this anybody's first viewing of this movie?
Yeah, I've never seen it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I've never
haven't
seen
seen
it.
it since I was a kid.
Eric, I think you'll approve of this movie for Brovember.
And
You
James,
will
haven't
love
seen
this
since you were a
fucking
kid?
You'll at
movie.
least approve of it for Brovember.
Okay.
Because Kurt Russell
Yes.
is your bro.
No, and it is a great film.
What?
And,
Is it
Well,
really?
okay.
It's a fun.
No.
Okay, I promise you at least one thing, you're gonna laugh. So
Yeah, you're gonna laugh. And there is actually there are two ways to watch this film. So I won't tell you the other way to watch this film.
Should I just
So
get
just
drunk?
watch it.
oh yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
just get drunk
Actually,
and
I
watch
think
this
that's
film.
necessary for both ways.
You gotta get at
Yeah.
least buzzed.
This is a good pounded beers movie. For sure. For sure.
Okay.
So have a few and enjoy the ride.
Okay.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. We were watching Big Trouble in Little China. So thank you very much for listening. And remember what Jack Burton says.
It's all in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
A great big thank you to our staff graphic artist, Tabby Walters, the Weekly Cast, and our listeners. You can listen to our podcast on iTunes, the Stitcher app, through YouTube, or directly on our website. Feel free to send us a movie review suggestion. Every third episode is Listener Appreciation, where we choose from your suggestions. You can reach us through social media, either by liking our Facebook page, John Hates Movies YouTube channel, or following our Twitter at John Hates Movies. Our music was composed by Kevin MacLeod. You can find this track and many more on his website, Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to hear someone say...
I feel kind of bad that I started this with such a downer of a movie for Brovember. The entire time, ever since I chose this movie, I was thinking, there's so many other movies I could have chose, like fucking RoboCop. Obviously, the new RoboCop would have been perfect.
What's the criteria
RoboCop?
for Brovember?
Nothing.
There isn't one. We just